What are some common expenses that you see in retirement that everyone may not be aware of?
Oh, yeah, that's actually a pretty common question because, it's one of the things we all worry about. We get to a certain age where we can't get a job, and, we're now living off of this income sources and our assets. And is there something we're missing, something we're not thinking about that isn't in our budget? What kind of surprises can come up in retirement? So, one of the things that we always talk about is the cost of medical care in general. And I'm going to ignore long term care for a minute, just regular medical care because the I think it's the Employee Benefit Research Institute has a big study out saying that the average male throughout their retirement will spend 144,000 on medical costs. This would be deductibles, drug costs, all of these things. The average female pays 163,000 again, mainly because they live longer, and the average couple pays 301,000. So that's a big number. Now this is over a lot of years for the entire retirement. But if you ignore that completely in your planning process, that might be a big surprise. So I would definitely look at that kind of basic medical cost, make sure that that's in your plan and that you have some, thought process on how that's going to work. Long-term care is obviously one that a lot of people do talk about, and it's not particularly a surprise, but having some type of a plan and testing your plan against long-term care, should you have insurance, and if you do have insurance, is it enough, those types of things. So that's a big issue. Housing, I mean, I just had my house blow up on me. Basically a leak in the wall and created a huge problem. Most of that was covered. Now, so one of the things that I would look at is insurance. Had a client had the '89 earthquake. Their house basically almost split in half up in Felton, and really wrecked her financial plan. The house isn't worth anything when it's at damage. They did declare an emergency, and she was able to get a low interest rate loan, but she still had to pay it back, and it was a huge deal for her. So would have been nice to have earthquake insurance. I know a lot of people don't do that, or flood insurance and those types of things. I tend to have a lot of insurance personally, and I look at it a little differently than some. You know, if I go to Hawaii, I'm going to spend X amount of money to go to Hawaii, and it's my vacation, and I'm going to get a certain amount of enjoyment and some, feel more relaxed or whatever it is. By having a lot of money going out to insurance policies, I feel the same way. It's like going on a vacation. I feel like I've got everything covered. So when my house did blow up, it cost me some money because I do use high deductibles because I believe in that. I think that, I'd rather have that high deductible and lower payment per month for something that might not happen. But so, but those are types of things. I guess the last one that jumps out at me is kids. Different emergencies that might happen to kids or grandkids, or even not emergencies. Trying to help your kid buy a house wasn't really in the plan. All of a sudden, there's a bunch of money going out to help them with the down payment. So, if you have kids, that's always a possibility. Some of those things that you should back test. Hearing and dental, we put in every plan now because most times that's not covered. So some amount per lifetime for those two areas, for example. So anyway, that those are some of the major ones that I can think of.
Yeah, I think you covered all of them. How when do people usually lose their hearing or new dental work done? Is it like in their like 70s, 80s?
Yeah. Well, it's obviously variable. It depends on the person. We do put it into the plan in kind of that mid 70s to mid 80s time frame for both of those. On average, I'd say that main reason we put those in the plan now is because we kept getting calls. Hey, I've got this bridge that I need to put in. It's going to be $5,500, or I need these hearing aids. They're going to be $7,000 or $4,000, whatever. So after a while, we were like, okay, this has got to be something that's in the plan because we just kept getting calls for the money that was being spent on those. Obviously, not everybody needs either one of those. Kind of depends on what happens, but that is something we put in the plans now.
Yeah, so like when for hearing aids, doesn't Medicare usually cover that kind of stuff, or is it kind of like the better hearing aids you have to go out and spend some money?
Yeah, it depends on the Medicare plan that you have, whether it is covered or not. I still have clients that wants something else. So in other words, even if it is covered, they go and look at what that is, and it's not what they want, and they want something better, and so they end up paying out of pocket for that. So, yeah, what's covered. Some people use it. Some people aren't covered for it, depending on their Medicare plan, and some people just basically want an upgrade for what is covered. So, I mean, I had a vision plan that would cover certain things, but they're not glasses I would wear. So I always had a lot of out of pocket, money for the glasses that I actually wanted.